Good morning, friends, or it could be good afternoon as well. This has been a very unexpected morning. So I woke up, it was absolutely freezing in the flat, and I had turned my thermostat down last night to come on at around 15 degrees. Normally I leave it at 16 degrees, and I thought maybe that was the reason it was so cold. And it could have been. I'm still not entirely sure. But basically, I woke up, I put the heating on, like turned the thermostat up. The boiler made a lot of weird gurgling noises, quite loud gurgling noises. And that sort of straight away to me indicated that something wasn't quite right. So anyway, I went about my morning. Well, maybe 5-10 minutes later I came back. The boiler was dead quiet. Oh, you know what I was doing? I was actually putting lights on the tree. So that was the first thing I did when I woke up, because I didn't get a chance to do it yesterday. And I'm actually, side note, thinking that I might need to get some plug-in ones, because those are battery ones and they're already looking quite sort of dim. So I don't really know. I'll have a little think. I think there are a few pairs I had in Fife, and I think I ended up with a pair that isn't the best. Anyway. So while I was doing that, I realised it was very silent in the living room. There was no noise from the boiler, and when I felt the radiator that's here, it was slightly warm, but you could tell that it wasn't working anymore. So that was my first kind of like, something is wrong. I went into the boiler cupboard, which is just there, opened it up, I had a look, and it said EA and ionization, or is that what it's called? Fault? Ionization? Now that I'm saying it, I don't think that's right, but it was something like that. And basically the heating wouldn't turn on, so that was wonderful. So I phoned up the company that I rent the flat from, and it went to their sort of repairs department, which I'm so grateful, so grateful that they are, you know, kind of not 24/7, but they're always there. Whenever I phone up with repairs, generally I can always get through quite easily. I phoned them up. She sort of made a note of my problem with the heating and said that a guy would phone me back once he was off the phone to sort of talk me through the process of fixing it. So that was positive in a sense, because the last thing I want at the moment is to not have heating. It's freezing out there. And also I would hate to be waiting around the whole day in the cold for a sort of a boiler repair, engineer. So while I was waiting for him to phone me back, I did a little bit of online research and realised that you can reset the boiler. So I reset it, it worked for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and then cut out again. So then thankfully it didn't take too long for him to phone. He phoned back and told me that this is a very common problem they've been having and struggling with for the past, 2 or 3 days. And that basically the pipes have frozen. So he said that there's nothing wrong with the boiler. It's just that it's so cold that the pipes have frozen. So I was like, okay, what do I do? What buttons do I press? What's the plan? And basically he gave me 2 options. The second option I find quite funny. The first option was very rudimentary. Basically, I just had to boil several kettles. Thankfully, I'm on the ground floor. Basically, boil kettle, not to completely boiling, but hot water. Take it outside to my garden, look for this pipe that goes from the boiler outside. There's like a white pipe, and pour this hot water along the pipe, and do that several times. And then once that has defrosted or whatever, thawed out, the heating should work again. So that was option number 1, very doable, but very sort of basic. That was fine. Option number 2 gave me a bit of a laugh. He said, option number 2, if you're feeling brave, is the white pipe that goes outside and is frozen outside there. There's like maybe this much of it, I don't know if you can see me hopefully, inside my flat. So he said you could just cut that open and have a bucket underneath, and it would just drain. I guess it's not the water must drain out of it, I guess. and the water would just drain into this bucket instead. So I was like, oh, okay, right. And he was like, I was like, what would I use? So I would have to use a saw. Can you imagine? I just find it so funny. Me with a saw, with no experience, sawing open a pipe that's attached to my boiler. And then I said to him, like, how would I then reattach the pipe? Or like, what would I tape it back up? How does one fix that? And he was like, no, basically we'd have to come out and fix it for you, like replace the pipe. So that sounded like a complete nightmare. I thought that was really funny that that was even an option of me sawing open this pipe, but I guess that was a last resort. So I will have showed you some clips. I think I tried to film me out there defrosting my pipe, thawing it out. So after I did that like 4 or 5 times, I came back in. It still wasn't, the system hadn't rebooted. So I just pressed like the reset button again, and then bam, we have heating. So that was an unexpected start to the day. A wee bit stressful. I just am so grateful, A, that I could get through to them very easily, B, their solution actually worked, and C, that I'm on the ground floor. So I was just praying, because the last thing I want to do is be absolutely freezing and waiting for an engineer, and I don't even know if an engineer would be able to come out, because surely so many people are having this issue, and probably people are having real big problems with their boilers that actually needs an engineer to come out. So yeah, that was an interesting start to the morning. The second thing is today was supposed to be really fun. Today I was supposed to be catching up with an old high school friend, and we haven't seen each other since 2019, I think. Yeah, 2019. And he was supposed to be coming through. We were going to have a lovely little catch up, go to a coffee shop. I thought of maybe like going to see some wreaths and taking you along and taking some photos. But there are train strikes today, which we did know about. But his backup plan was to take the bus, because he lives outside of Edinburgh. But basically the bus, because of the trains, the buses are also just a whole mess because there's so many people wanting to use them. So we've had to postpone that as well. So today has been, it's not a bad day, it was just a very, you know, when you have a plan for a certain day. My plan was to wake up quite early-ish, have a very relaxed morning, have a little like time reading, you know, like my Bible or like reading my book, having a very chill, eating my cereal, enjoying my Advent tea, which I'll get to in a moment. And in the end, it involved me with like my dressing gown, house coat, with my hat on, running in and out with a kettle. And then I thought this afternoon would be a lovely little vlogmas video of me taking you around to like a coffee shop and sightseeing, and that's changed as well. So I don't really know what my plan for this afternoon is going to end up being. I might just take a little walk by myself, maybe try and get some different lights potentially. So yeah, I just thought that it would be easier to sit down and have a little chat with you, and my phones are very close to dead, so they're charging, hence me using the camera. Golly, the good thing is that I have submitted my work. That is all done and it's waiting for approval, and I hope that they like it. I feel like I put a lot of work into it, and I'm quite proud of how it turned out and quite happy. So I'm just really hoping that they'll approve it and be really happy with it. Completely fine if they have some changes, but yeah, overall I hope they like it. Right, now let's have a little chat about Advent tea. I'll go and get... Oh. Normally I would wait to sort of open the tea with you and kind of have a look at, find out the tea with you on camera. However, when I was waiting for that guy to phone back about the heating, I was just like a little bit like, I needed a little pick-me-up, and I couldn't really be bothered filming it. I just grabbed my tea, had a look, and had a nice cup of tea while I was waiting for him to phone me. So today's tea, so I knew it was a green tea, but it was not a flavoured one for a change. It's called Chun Mi. hopefully that's sort of focused. And I have to say, that's a bug. I did really enjoy it, but because I was too busy thinking about the boiler, I can't really give you a proper review. All I know is that I drank it and it made me feel better, but I don't remember much else about it. So I think I'm going to have another cup of that this afternoon maybe, or like another day, and fill you in properly about what I thought of it. Oh yeah, it's on the couch behind me. So that is, I think, all that I have to update you with. I just need to maybe start making some lunch and figure out what I want to do with the day. I kind of want to put in an online food shopping order as well, so I might do that. Yeah, I'm gonna have a phone call with my friend though. She's been in Germany and I haven't caught up with her for quite a long time, so she's just got back yesterday and she's at home today. If she lived nearer, I would just pop round for a cup of tea, but we're going to have a phone call catch up at some point today, so that is the only plan that I have. So I'll maybe leave it there and catch up with you soon. There's cats everywhere this morning. I think that might be my neighbour's cat. And then we also have a bit of a showdown going on over here with Oreo and an interloper. Lunch is served. Not the most healthy meal, but definitely a very quick one and a comforting one. Okay, so it is quite a bit later. I actually can't remember. I think I checked in with you just before I had lunch, and then I made some lunch and pretty much just felt a little bit low. I don't really know. I don't know if it's the sort of season. I've never really been affected by winter, like the darkness, but I don't know if it's that. I'm just so kind of unmotivated to kind of head outside because it's so cold, and then by the time I had lunch quite late, and then it was pretty much like a half an hour till it was dark again, so I think I was just in a little bit of a meh mood, if that makes sense. So if you're feeling the same, definitely sending some virtual hugs to you. I'm trying to motivate myself. I've done the washing, as you will have seen, because my friends are staying over tomorrow evening, and basically I needed some fresh laundry because I've just been slowly doing the laundry hoping that the weather would just kind of warm up a bit, because I love to put it outside in the garden for some fresh air, but it doesn't really look like that's happening, so this was kind of my last day to do it. So got myself organised, did the washing, then I've just been watching Veronica Mars, to be honest. My boiler is starting to make kind of funny noises again, and I just wonder if maybe the pipes are starting to freeze again. So I'm wondering whether I climbed up to my top cupboard, and I have a lot of bubble wrap that I've not really known what to do with. I've just kept it up at the top because I don't think you can easily recycle bubble wrap, and also to throw it away is such a waste because it doesn't ever, I don't know how long it would take to decompose, probably never. So this is a crazy thought, but because it's Vlogmas, normally I wouldn't be sharing what I'm up to, because sometimes I just get a whim, and is this the wisest whim or the most sensible whim? No. But I think I'm gonna go outside and try to surround my pipes outside in some bubble wrap. In the dark, I'm aware. The craziest whim, not the best idea, very aware. It's gonna be cold, but basically I should have done it after lunch, but I couldn't really remember where the bubble wrap was and I was lazy. And I'm just trying to get myself productive so that I feel like when I go to bed tonight that I didn't just completely waste the day. I did do my washing and potentially will have somewhat insulated those pipes. So I just wanted to explain to you how I'm spending my very odd day. So okay, I'm going to go and try and experiment with that. I may be successful, I may be very unsuccessful. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to get all wrapped up and head outside. You know what? I didn't even look at the time. I should really be probably cooking dinner. I thought it was earlier than this. So I'm going to try my idea really quickly, and then if I don't have any success, I'm going to come in and make some dinner. Also, what are these that are glowing? They don't look glowing off camera. That's a little bit odd. Okay, so I'm back inside. I basically was just out there trying my best to cover as much of the pipe as possible in some bubble wrap. Some of it was easier than others because at some points the pipe was a little bit further away from the wall and that was easy to sort of cover it in bubble wrap and then tie up, but other parts was really quite flush to the wall, so I just did as best as I could. Anyway, while I was out there, my biggest fear was that someone would sort of come in the door or go upstairs and notice the back door was open and close it, because obviously it is cold, and lock me out without a phone or that. So, I mean, it wouldn't have been the end of the world. I do know my neighbours who live next door and I could have knocked on their windows and been like, let me in please. But thankfully it was fine, and while I was out in the garden actually, those same neighbours, one of them came out to get some sort of foliage from the garden because she's doing her wreath for her front door. So obviously she was wondering what was I up to with bubble wrap in hand standing near the pipes at this time of night. And when I got chatting to her, I found out that unfortunately they've had the exact same issue as me today, but so much worse. So I'm feeling really grateful that the solution actually worked for my heating. I just had to pour like 4 or 5 kettles worth of hot water on it and restart it and it worked, whereas they've tried that multiple times throughout the day and it just keeps cutting out. I think that's what she said. So I feel so bad for them because obviously they've not had heating the whole day and have been freezing. So yeah, when she saw me she was asking if my bubble wrap plan was sort of foolproof, like would it work? And I said basically I just have a lot of bubble wrap in the house and it's just an experiment, so I have some extra bubble wrap. If mine does work, if it's smooth sailing from here and I see them again, I'll offer them if you want any of my bubble wrap. I'm actually planning to maybe tomorrow in the daylight go back out and also try and add another layer maybe. We'll see how that goes. So basically that's what I did for the past wee while. It didn't take as long as I thought it would actually, because it is quite a long pipe, but thankfully the bubble wrap strips were quite long, so it didn't take too long. And then actually while I was out there, a slight perk of being out there is I didn't realise that my neighbour, who's also I'm friendly with, who lives above me 2 floors, she has her projection, her Christmas projection on in the garden. So when I was out there I saw her projection and I did try and film it. I don't think it was very clear, but that was a nice little perk. Trying to look on the bright side of being out in the dark cold. Anyway, I'm gonna go and have some dinner because I'm pretty hungry. It's already, what time is it? 7:22 in the evening, and this has not been the best vlog. I do apologise. I know that many of you are so sweet in the comments and say I never need to apologise, but I do feel that today's one hasn't been the best day. It's probably the worst day of Vlogmas so far. Not because anything bad like happened, obviously the heating was a disappointment and not seeing my friend disappointment, but I just think content-wise, probably not the most interesting. Or maybe it was quite interesting, funny-wise, watching me with the kettle this morning and the bubble wrap there. So I'm gonna go make dinner. I think I'm gonna maybe have a baked potato with some tuna and cheese because it'll be quite quick. And then I'll just settle down for the evening and try and have a really early night because I'm going to try and be very productive tomorrow. It's supposed to be sunny and I need to get some vitamin D, so I'm going to try and leave pretty early in the morning to go and do a shop because I'm low on food. So that's the plan. We'll see how that works, but that is the plan. So I think I'm going to leave the vlog here. I'm not going to apologise again, but there will be better vlogs coming, especially on Friday. I'm looking forward to Friday if all goes to plan. There'll be Christmas at the Botanic Lights, and me and my friend Ashley are planning to go and walk through the Christmas markets as well, while her sister basically has something on Friday morning, and while we're waiting for her at that appointment, we're going to go through the Christmas markets. So there will be better vlogs coming, I assure you. And yeah, wherever you are in the world, I hope that you're safe, I hope that you're warm, or if you're in a very hot country, I hope that you stay cool. And have a lovely day, and I will see you tomorrow.